Gillette Public Access Television presents North by Northeast, a news magazine about Northeast Wyoming.
Hello, I'm here with Jay Lundell, Gillette Campbell County Executive Airport Director. We're here actually to talk about jet service. It's something that the Gillette Campbell County Airport is getting starting February 1st, it sounds like. This will be the first time this kind of airport has had jet service. Talk a little bit about, Jay, I guess, as far as what that means for this airport versus kind of what we were seeing before.
Correct. Thank you for having me. The one thing that's going to change as a major part is we're going to go from the turboprops to the jet aircraft. And the jet aircraft that we will be getting they're called a CRJ 200.
Okay.
They're a 50-seat passenger aircraft. The current turboprop aircraft that we're being served with right now are only 30 seats. And SkyWest is planning to do away with those aircraft the first part of June.
Oh.
So we're transitioning a little sooner than perhaps some of the other communities will. The good thing about it is we're a community that's growing, and we'll be able to grow into the jets, where some communities, if they lose the smaller turboprop aircraft, they can't really transition into the larger aircraft. So we're fortunate in those regards.
Okay, and I guess as somebody who does fly through this airport, talk a little bit maybe more specific as far as the difference would be. Obviously there's more seats, but I mean, as there's more seats, you're losing a couple flights, I believe. We fly through Salt Lake City and Denver. Talk a little bit about that.
Okay, we'll still have the 2 round trips to Denver.
Okay.
And those times will remain relatively the same.
Okay.
We'll probably depart a little later in the mornings just because the jets are somewhat faster, and that saves perhaps about 10 minutes really on that leg. What we are losing is a flight to Salt Lake City. We'll only have 1 flight round trip per day starting in February. There's been some issue with the time schedule in the sense that a lot of people don't like the late afternoon flight. It actually leaves Salt Lake City about 3, gets in here about 4, and then turns around and leaves then for Salt Lake City at 5 o'clock, arrival in Salt Lake City about 6:31 in the evening. So anyway, that's one of those things that we're keeping an eye on, is what are our advanced bookings looking like. We've talked to SkyWest about that schedule. We sure like our early morning flight because that's when the business people typically are wanting to get out.
Yeah.
And so we've been told that because of the jet aircraft and the crews and that sort of stuff, as far as availability goes, that's what we're kind of stuck with for right now. We hope that in the next 6 to 9 months that we can revisit that and see if we cannot get a different schedule that's a little better into Salt Lake City. Although that is an evening flight out of Gillette, it is a good inbound flight for those people doing business in Gillette.
Oh, okay.
But to really be able to say, our business people are going to fly out of here, it really perhaps might take another day or 2 for them to do a complete travel. But it does hit, that flight in the evening does hit 2 banks out of Salt Lake City. Majority of them are going to the southwest and the northeast, or northwest rather, northwest.
Okay, and since we're talking a little bit about flying and booking and things like that, like you said, that it begins on February 1st is when the jet service will begin. So even if somebody books now, as long as after February 1st, they'll be flying on the new planes. Now, prices is always a subject that everybody kind of talks about. Do you see any price differences or anything like that coming in with the jet service?
Initially, we're looking at those fares, and they haven't changed. In fact, we will have the ability to, because the aircraft is larger, there will be more opportunity for cheaper seats, if you will, on that flight. So, as an example, you may have gotten a bucket of seats that were probably 2 seats on the Brasilia, which is the 30 passenger that we presently are served with. With the 50 passenger, you may have 3 to 4 opportunities to have lower fares if you get right on top of it. In other words, you'd have to probably get a 21-day advance on your booking on that. But from what we're seeing the fares are going to remain relatively the same. We are talking to SkyWest about introductory fares as well.
Okay.
So hopefully, all that will come to fruition once this air service starts.
Coming up on North by Northeast, lunch at the Aladdin Cafe. And we're here in Sundance, Wyoming at Sundance Hardware with Steve Lenz, Reggie Gaylord. We're here to talk about the first annual Sundance Winter Festival. So Steve, why don't you tell us, where did the idea for the Sundance Winter Festival come from?
Sure. We actually came up with this idea when we were brainstorming events for our community, and this was a good time of the year in February where nothing's going on. The motels are sitting empty, the restaurants are quiet, and we wanted to put together an event that would bring people to town, have them stay overnight and shop and just enjoy our beautiful area.
Cool. And so as you were putting this together, what were some of the ideas that you guys had for doing this?
Well, Reggie and I actually kind of created the Sundance Downtown Retail Business District, and in doing so, we felt that Sundance had a great name and should be a resort community, and in order to do that, we wanted to have an event each month. And so we just sit down and we start brainstorming, and each month has an event that we're going to be promoting, and this was one for February.
Excellent. So Reggie, why don't you tell us about some of the events that are going to be at the Winter Festival?
Well, it's going to be a pretty loaded list of events. We have ski joring, which is a pretty crazy little idea of pulling skiers behind horses.
Oh my! Okay.
And we're going to we'll have jumps and obstacles built right down on Main Street.
Oh,
so you'll
fun.
start on the lower side of Main Street and ride up the hill, being pulled behind a horse. It happens in different parts. Not very many places in Wyoming, but definitely around the area. And then we're going to have the bar stool races, which we're going to put skis on bar stools and take it down a ramp, down the other part of one of the streets that'll end up at the end. Snow sculpturing, we're going to have huge for the ones that have the talent of being an artist, which is not me, has the chance to sculpture a huge block of snow.
Okay.
There'll be ice skating, extreme movies on the back porch of one of the local restaurants, so it'll be an outdoor theater type of thing.
Okay.
Sledding, there'll be, and then there's the cross-country skiing, which is going to do a clinic up by Reuter Campgrounds, and then the next day there'll be an actual race, a cross-country skiing race.
Oh, very exciting.
So it seems like that there's
And
something
one
for every.
more big item. Actually, vintage snowmobile hill climb on Sundance Mountain.
Oh wow, very nice.
It has to be a pre-1980
Okay.
sled, so none of the new sleds that are built to do this, which will be really exciting, and we think that'll be quite a large event as well.
We've
So-
had quite a few people even talking about that. They're like, oh, we've had one up in the storage shed of the barn forever. We're going to get it going.
Oh, very nice.
And we're like, okay, here we go.
Perfect.
That
Perfect.
rounds it out and makes a real nice event, and we're
2 day
hoping
event,
for
yeah.
a very large crowds. So
Excellent. And so it sounds like you have events for really the entire family.
Yes. That's our goal usually in all of these ideas. Well, we're around family so much, and it's hard to leave kids at home or anything like that. So it's way more fun if it's dedicated to families and they can bring them, and it has that atmosphere that's fun for everybody, and it makes it a good day out.
Yeah. So if somebody wants to find out more information about the Sundance Winter Festival, where can they go? How can they find out about it?
we actually have it on the website for the city of Sundance, which is www.sundancewyoming.com.
Okay.
And that's the Chamber of Commerce. It'll have all the list of events on there.
And then we will, as now the holidays come to more of a close, we'll finish up our Facebook page, and there'll be updated events that people can like that page, and then we'll keep them updated as we finalize all the situations. So.
Okay. Well, it certainly sounds like you guys have a lot going on here in Sundance, and I want to thank you both for allowing us to come into your store and talk about the Sundance Winter Festival. One more time, tell us when the Winter Festival is.
It is February 7th, and it'll be right Main Street. This whole block, basically going to take up 3 blocks of activities. So,
And on the Sundance Mountain and in the Bear Lodge Mountains.
and then it'll go to the 8th. I mean, we'll have
it's a
festivals.
2-day event.
Yeah.
All right, Sundance Winter Festival, February 7th and 8th in Sundance, Wyoming. Come on down and check it out.
Here's a look at this week's community calendar. There will be a furniture refinishing and project workshop in Gillette at the Camplex starting on January 20th and going through February 1st. For more information, contact Jim Britt at 307-682-8442, or you can also visit www.cam-plex.com. On Wednesday, January 21st, the 6th annual Platte River Photography Show opening reception will be going on at the Wyoming Pioneer Museum in Douglas. Start time for that is 5 p.m. I'll Be Me, Glenn Campbell's story, will be playing on Wednesday, January 21st at 7 p.m. at the Newcastle High School in the Crouch Auditorium. For more information on this show, you can visit www.newcastlewyo.com. Check out the jam session on Thursday, January 22nd at 6:30 p.m. at the Occidental Saloon in Buffalo. It features a group of local musicians playing bluegrass, western, and folk music. For more information, call 307-684-0451. The Sheridan County Wellness Festival will be happening on January 24th at the Sheridan College Golden Dome. For more information on this event, visit www.wellnesscouncilsc.org or call Paul at 406-579-0171. On January 26th at 6:30 p.m., check out Story Pirates at the Camplex Heritage Center Theater in Gillette. For more information on this show, you can visit www.cam-plex.com. The first annual Sundance Winter Festival will be happening on February 7th and the 8th. There will be many events happening between the 2 days, including snowmobile hill climb, snow sculpture carving, dog sledding, and so much more. For more information, visit www.sundancewyoming.com. Later on North by Northeast, we toured the Jim Gatchell Memorial Museum in Buffalo. This week's featured pets come to us from the Laramie Peak Humane Society in Douglas. We have Annie, a 6-year-old spayed female calico. She is vaccinated, microchipped, and is great with kids. She also does well with other cats and dogs as well. Another cat up for adoption is Vida. She is a 1-year-old spayed female that is also vaccinated and microchipped. She is great with kids and might be good with dogs as long as they are nice to her. She is not fond of other cats. We also have Francis, a 3-year-old neutered male pit bull. He is vaccinated and microchipped. He is great with kids and dogs, but is a little unsure around cats. Buster is another dog up for adoption. He is a 7-year-old male boxer that is vaccinated, microchipped, and neutered. He is good with kids, cats, and dogs as well. He does have some food allergies, but it is very easy to monitor. To adopt any of these pets, or for more information, you can contact the shelter at 307-358-6475, or you can visit petfinder.com, and as always, please adopt a pet.
Welcome to the Aladdin Cafe, also known as Cindy B's Restaurant, here in Aladdin, Wyoming. We are sitting here with the famous Cindy B. And so, Cindy, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Aladdin Cafe?
I was working for the chiropractor who had an office right next door for 11 years, and my niece had opened this back up, and I was helping her on my days off. Well, her children were small then, and it was too much away from home, so she asked me if I wanted to do it, and the doctor's office was going to move into Spearfish, and I didn't want to have to drive that far to work. So I said, yeah, I'll take it over, and I did the 1st of November, which was the beginning of hunting season.
Oh,
and
that must have been might have been a busy little time.
A rude awakening, yes. But it's been fun.
But you toughed it out, you stuck around?
I did. The lady that works over at the store was making pies for my niece, and she said she didn't want to make them anymore, and I begged her to bake them to get me through November, and I said, then I'll learn how. So it's been me ever since.
When did the Aladdin Cafe originally open?
It was in the late 1950s when they brought the building in, and the back room wasn't attached until the 1990s. You know, so it was just this little 3 tables. It was the Aladdin Cafe for many years.
What are the more popular items that you have on your menu?
Breakfast is usually really big, and it's everything. You know, it's sausage, bacon, you know, hash browns, all that. Lunch, the bacon patty melts, the BLTs, just burgers in general are very popular. Homemade fries.
Oh, wonderful.
Yep.
Wonderful.
And pie. A lot of pie.
Okay, yeah. You have to tell us about the pie. So the pie at one point in time had been made over at the general store, and now you took over that. So what is the pie? What's the $1,000 pie?
$1,000 pie was they were having a fundraiser for the volunteer fire department.
Okay.
To raise money, and I donated a pie for him to sell. Well, the guy who bought it donated $1,000 to the fire department.
And afterwards, did he say that the pie was worth $1,000?
I don't know about that, but I hope he thought that.
What kind of pie was it?
It was a sour cream raisin.
Sour cream raisin pie.
Mm-hmm.
Is that on the menu today?
No, I have
Okay.
cherry and banana cream.
Okay, well we'll have to maybe give one of those a try in a little bit. And this is the official scooter stop, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Self-proclaimed, or are you actually...
I know a sign maker.
Oh, perfect. That's all you need.
Yep.
So I'm sure during the rally this place is
It's
pretty busy.
crazy, yeah. But it's fun.
Yeah.
You know, so many nice people. And most of them aren't in a big hurry. They know
Mhm.
when they hit the door that it might be a while before they get their food, but we try our best.
Aladdin is a little bit out of the way. It's not on a major interstate or a major highway. But what kind of customers do you get that are coming in here? Obviously, you can't rely on just the locals to keep the place going.
In the wintertime, it is mostly just the locals. But I've been getting, if the roads are good and the weather's decent, people from Belfouche and Spearfish and Hewlett and Sundance will come over.
So now it's become kind of a destination.
Yes. Yep.
Excellent.
And because it is so remote, it just about has to be a destination.
Yeah. What are some of the other attractions in the area, maybe that aren't as well known, that you would recommend?
The Tipple is just a mile and a half down the road.
The Tipple?
Yes.
Okay.
It's old coal mining. They
Oh, okay.
mine coal
Okay.
out of there. They used donkeys to pull the trains, or the carts that they loaded the coal in and everything.
And then also in Aladdin, of course, is the general store. The general store has been around
Yep.
for 110 years or so?
Yeah.
Okay, but it's still a fully functioning general store?
Yep. There's just no restrooms. Or
Oh.
They're outdoor.
Oh, okay.
Because there's no running water.
Oh, there's
In
a
the
surprise
store.
for you.
Yeah.
There is running water and restrooms inside Cindy B's, though.
Yes.
There's a sign out there that says the town's for sale.
Yes.
Is what's going to happen when, if and when that occurs?
Well, my sister and her husband still own the cafe, or I own the business, but they own the building.
Okay.
And the motel, and that's up for sale too. But
Okay.
she put on there long-term leasee, so hopefully I'll keep my job if somebody else takes over.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I think what we're going to do next, I think we're going to order something up and have a bite to eat.
Awesome. I'll get my apron on.
And I see that we've got some customers that probably want to come in and eat too, so we'll get out of their way too.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You bet.
Jeremy and I went with the traditional menu items. He had the patty melt, and I went for the deluxe bacon cheeseburger. Had I known how large it was going to be, I would have gone with the junior. I might have left room for pie. We asked the Hutchinsons, regulars at Cindy B's, about their lunch favorites.
Oh, it's the same thing every time, the junior bacon cheeseburger and fries.
How about yourself?
I get Cobb salad.
Do you guys ever have pie while you're here?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So what's your favorite type of pie?
Probably like the chocolate cream.
Okay, how about yourself?
Probably the chocolate cream.
We're here at the Jim Gatchell Memorial Museum in Buffalo, Wyoming, and I'm here with Sylvia Bruner. She is the Assistant Director and Registrar of the museum. So Sylvia, why don't you tell us a little bit about the history of the museum itself?
Sure, I would love to. So the Jim Gatchell Memorial Museum exists because of a man named Jim Gatchell, appropriately enough. He was an early pharmacist in Buffalo, opened his pharmacy in 1900, and he was very interested in Western history, especially Wyoming history. He started touring local battlefields and areas and picking up artifacts, and a lot of the artifacts that he ended up collecting were given as gifts to him by either his friends or maybe his customers. He started displaying these in the back room of his drugstore. The collection grew to be pretty sizable, and when he passed away in the early 1950s, his family wanted to give the items to the county if the county would build a museum building. And the county accomplished that thanks to a lot of generous donations from community members. And in 1957, we opened our doors as the Jim Gatchell Memorial Museum. We have been expanding our collection ever since, mostly through just generous donations from our community members. It's amazing what people have and are willing to give us for our exhibits. So we have expanded from around 1,000 artifacts of the original collection to, if you count documents and photographs now, somewhere in the realm of 19,000.
Oh wow, wow.
Yeah.
Excellent. So what are some of the more popular items or displays that you have here at the museum?
I think probably our most asked about item or most requested would be a bugle we have in the collection. And the story is that it belonged to Adolf Metzger, who was the bugler during the Fetterman fight at Fort Kearney in 1866. Now, we've done some research on this bugle, and there's nothing that shows us that it couldn't have been his. It fits perfectly. It was found on the battlefield in the 1880s, and it was given to Jim Gatchell probably during about the 1930s or so.
Okay.
Definitely a very popular item. Very striking when you see it because it's completely smashed, which makes sense. That area was used for a lot of cattle, so they're not exactly gentle creatures.
No, no.
That would be probably our number one. Our Native American War Shield is a very popular item. Very interesting item too because there's just so little known about it. We actually use it as part of our logo for the museum. It's in beautiful condition, has a lot of very interesting artwork on it, and has a big mystery as far as its explanation. One other very popular item, if you could call it an item, is actually this cabin behind us. It's a really large item. This was a homestead cabin built in 1916 north of KC, and it's got a really interesting history from the family. Marshall and Sylvia Jenkins built it. They had 2 children born in it. They ended up with 8 children in total, and they ended up leaving the cabin. And one of the daughters that was born in the cabin in the 1980s purchased it back, moved it to Story, used it as a guest house for a long time. And then she and her family donated it to the museum in 2006, and we're really happy that we have it. It's beautiful shape, it's really well made, and it's a very popular item. People love to be able to see into it and see what living in a 2-room cabin would have been like.
Well, 2 rooms, that was kind of a luxury.
It was, and it had a true wood floor, also kind of a luxury item. A lot of these cabins had dirt floors.
And the museum itself, it wasn't constructed to be the museum. What was it before it became
Well,
the museum?
half of the museum was constructed to be the museum. But the Carnegie Library building that is the front door of the museum when you come in now was originally the Johnson County Library. And it was built in 1909 as a Carnegie Library. In the 1980s, though, the library outgrew it, and they needed to expand. And so the county gave it to the museum to be used as administrative offices and whatnot. And then in 2006, we were able to link the buildings together because they both sit at different planes, and this provided a way for our visitors to access both buildings and the whole collection. Made it ADA compliant, so we're easy to get through and navigate through, and we're really happy that we have the Carnegie Library building as our front entrance. One, because it's historical, it's a very cool building, and it's just a beautiful building. It makes this little area look even prettier.
And another nice part about where you guys are located is you're right in the heart of downtown Buffalo.
We are right smack dab in the center, sitting on the corner of Fort and Main Street, so we're very easy to find, easy to navigate to and from.
And as everybody is walking up and down the historic downtown area, it's very easy to find you as
absolutely.
well. So you're right next to the Occidental Hotel.
We are, and we're also right next to the courthouse building, right behind you. That's actually Buffalo's oldest still standing building, built in 1884.
Oh wow!
It's another really pretty building, very fitting of that time period. So we have just this nice little block showing you kind of that little glimpse into what Buffalo might have looked like in the 1880s.
Right. Sylvia, anything else that you would like to add about the museum?
We would like to just let you know that we are open year-round. It's kind of a nice thing to have in the middle of winter. I know that our tourist season slows down, but it's really nice when people do come through that our doors are open. You can come in, you can check out the collection. People are doing research, anything of that nature, we're here.
What hours are you open?
We're open Monday through Friday from about 8 till 4 during the winter.
Okay. All right. Well, Sylvia, thank you very much for joining us today.
Sure, thanks for having us.